Here's another video just to summarize a little bit of these bottom ends on. It doesn't matter if it's a twin cam or an M8. The crankshafts are similar in how they're put together. This is a later model twin cam, later style twin cam. You can see me moving these rods. They should not be interlocked like that. They're binding, and we've seen a lot of bikes with oiling and sumping issues. We'll get into that in a minute, but that's definitely one of the foundations of any Harley motor, is making sure that that bottom end is up to snuff. And you can see this one is not. Those rods should fall freely on their own. There should be no resistance whatsoever. So there's either a marred up bearing, or it was starved for oil, or there's a lot of unknowns without actually taking it apart. And sometimes you have to spin these things around 10 or more times to find that bad spot in that bearing. And taking a top end off a bike, you could spin these things around 3 times. Oh, it seems fine, but if you keep going around, you might find a tight spot. That's why we always recommend, when you're doing a motor build, to do everything. Do the bottom end, do the top end. I know it's costs a little bit more money, but you're better off in the long run, because you put that top end big bore kit on here with a cam, and year, 2 year, even 3 years down the road, now you've got some oiling issues, all that's coming back apart again, and hopefully that none of that stuff gets destroyed in the meantime, and you're buying it over again. So just a quick little tip. And then the sumping issue, what people are talking about when they're talking about, oh, my bike sumps. I mean, you can feel a bike when it sumps. It's like putting the brakes on. When you're on the throttle, you let off, and that front end wants to just dive and slow right down and do a lot of engine braking. The bike's probably sumping, and what that means is you've got these guys right here are your piston oiling jets. M8s are similar, and you've also got oil being fed on the cam side through the crankshaft, through the rods. Oil will bleed off into the bottom end. The scavenging port is inside. There's actually a port on the cam chest side that extracts the oil. It's constantly trying to suck out that excess oil that's dropping down into that bottom end. And what happens is, if there's excessive oil going down in there, it's just filling up that bottom end, and that whole crankshaft is trying to force its way through oil. The bikes will get super hot, super sluggish, and it's usually caused from either oiling jet issues, whether the gasket or O-ring's blown out, or you've got some excessive thrust wear in the crankshaft, and it's just bleeding oil off, dumping it into that bottom end. Or you've got possibly a bad oil pump or seal on the oil pump that's not letting it extract all that oil out. So just a quick little video again. Hopefully that helps explain things a little better. We try to stock a lot of crankshafts, and if you're doing a big motor build, it is wise to, it does take some time. We send a lot of these crankshafts out, and to get a really good solid true foundation, it's always best to balance the crankshafts, matching the piston weight, getting that motor blueprinted. It's going to run smoother, it's going to last a lot longer. We've even seen on the dyno a good crankshaft that's done properly definitely makes a little bit more horsepower, because everything's a lot true as far as the bearings on left and right side of the crankcase. Everything can just roll a lot smoother, which equates to more power, because everything's just a lot freer. So hopefully this little video helps. Thanks.